I'm Bo Maddox.
And I'm Joe Cantu.
And this is Collateral Cinema.
What makes you think you can bullshit your way into my head? Like every other pencil-neck piece of shit!
Hello. Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We are podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, we are a 420 friendly podcast, so smoke 'em if you got 'em, my friends. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Well, everyone, this is the first episode of Collateral Cinema. Thank you, everyone who has decided to listen to this today. I'm really excited because today we're focused on Takashi Miike's 1999 horror drama epic, Audition. This is a favorite movie of mine. I mean, from a favorite director of mine. I first became aware of Takashi Miike maybe like a little bit before this movie came out. I think that Ichi the Killer came out before this. I might be wrong. I'm not sure, but that's definitely the first one of his movies that I initially watched, and that movie is just out there. I mean, there's so much gore, there's so much weird, like, sexual imagery, and, you know, I mean, the titular character is not even who you think he is. I mean, it's really a great movie, and I definitely recommend that, but this movie right here is a lot more subdued. It's a lot more dramatic. It's more multi-layered, and it's kind of a genre. What would be the word? A genre smash up, I guess you could say. And I mean, it goes from psychological thriller to there's romance, there's drama, there's horror, there's a lot in between those layers as well. And I mean, it's something that really makes me quite livid when I first saw the last 15 to 20 minutes. So that's what I would describe it. I would describe it as livid, and it's something that just really just made me think about how dating culture has changed so much, and how, coming from a foreign market, how similar it really is all across the board, coming from some place like Japan, which has a lot of their own little kinks and their own little culture when it comes to dating and romance there. And that much is shown in this movie. It's something that really kind of, I don't know, it's something that really grabs at you at an emotional and a psychological level that just really forces you to kind of look at the patriarchy, to look at like modern attitudes regarding dating and relationships, especially in between the relationship between man and woman in the mix. It's definitely a crazy film. Let's just go ahead and just put that out there. You know, it's something that's needless to say, and it's also a movie that is kind of widely regarded as one of the most disturbing films of all time. I mean, and the last 15 or 20 minutes definitely fits that bill, although personally, I don't really find it that messed up. I mean, even upon my first viewing, it really wasn't that horrific to me even. It was just kind of sad in a way. It's more of a tragedy in every sense. And it's really compounded by the first half of that movie. The first half of the movie is very much like a straightforward romantic family style drama. It's purposefully written to and it's filmed to kind of emulate that type of genre of film and television in Japan, which is its own type of family drama with its own type of romance. It's pretty much like a soap opera or a telenovela or something like that. And once things start to go awry midway through the movie, it really just undercuts that first half. And it really just forces the main character, Aoyama, to really just look at loneliness in the face, look at what people think love is, and also what it isn't. I mean, it really undercuts how, when you first meet somebody, you kind of approach them in a way that you kind of have like a special type of rose-colored glasses, if you will. You just can't really see the forest for the trees when you first meet somebody. And that's something that throughout this movie kind of comes in and comes out of play. And it really makes for a relationship that you just know is just not going to end any other way than it does. Even though you can kind of say that maybe the last 15 to 20 minutes of this film may be just like a dream sequence, or it may just be Aoyama trying to cope with what Asami, the female lead character in this movie, like I'll get to a synopsis here in a little bit. It really shows how he ignores how broken she is, and how in some ways he kind of manipulates her in the same way that she manipulates him, or as it seems. And there's so many different themes in this movie, like social isolation, the quirks of modern dating, the nature of familial relationships versus those romantic relationships, and overall how patriarchy and how feminism kind of comes into play in between those layers, if you catch my drift. So ultimately, what I'm saying with this introduction is that this is a movie that profoundly forced me to look at myself and look at my own dating life and see, what ways am I contributing to these problems, and in what ways am I not? It's something that's very illuminating, and I recommend everyone to watch this movie kind of with that in mind, and really just kind of take in what it's telling you in your own way. Because I believe that Miike, and especially how open-ended the ending of this movie is, which we will get to later, it's something that really just lends itself to your own subjective interpretation, even outright objective interpretation if you want. But it's definitely something that everybody needs to see. Everybody needs to watch this film. And without further ado, I'm going to go into a synopsis from it. I'm probably just going to go off of whatever is on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb at the moment, since I have not had time to really write a proper synopsis out. So without further ado, this is the synopsis for Audition. Via IMDb. Shigeharu Aoyama, a middle-aged widower who lost his wife to an illness 7 years prior, is urged by his 17-year-old son Shigehiko to begin dating women again. Shigehiko is somewhat doubtful of his father's love life, but plans to move out when he finishes school and does not want his father to be alone. Aoyama's friend and colleague, Yoshikawa, a film producer, devises a plan to hold a mock audition in which young, beautiful women would audition for the part of Aoyama's new wife under the impression that they are auditioning for a new film, but actually so Aoyama can marry one of the finalist contestants. Aoyama is immediately enchanted by Asami Yamazaki, a 24-year-old woman with a soft voice and reserved yet confident mannerisms. In her audition, Asami says that she was once a ballerina headed for greatness, but had to give up dancing after an injury. Aoyama, still reeling from the death of his wife, is attracted to her apparent emotional depth. Yoshikawa warns him about Asami, saying that he has a bad feeling about her. None of the references on her resume were able to be reached, and her job history is shaky. The music producer she claimed to work for had gone missing. Unfortunately, Aoyama is so enthralled by her inner and outer beauty that he is blinded by his feelings for her. She lives in an empty apartment, furnished only with a sack and a telephone. 4 days following the audition, she sits perfectly still in the middle of the floor next to the telephone, waiting for it to ring. When it finally does, the sack lurches across the room and makes gurgling sound. She ignores it as she waits a few rings before answering. When Asami answers the phone, she confesses to Aoyama that she never expected him to call. After several dates, she agrees to accompany him to a seaside hotel. Once at the hotel, Asami tells Aoyama about the abuse she suffered as a child and shows him the burn scars on her body. Asami asks Aoyama to love only her. Aoyama promises to do so, and they make love. The next morning, Aoyama is awakened by a telephone call. It is the front desk wondering if, since his companion left, he too would be checking out. He realizes Asami is nowhere to be found. Using her resume, Aoyama searches in vain for her. Aoyama visits the old ballet studio where Asami claimed to have trained for 12 years. He finds that the studio is now inhabited only by a disabled old man in a wheelchair with artificial feet. It is revealed that the man caused the burn scars on Asami's legs. Then he goes to the bar where Asami used to work, and someone tells him that it has been closed for a year because the woman who was in charge, the wife of a record producer, was found dismembered. When the police put her body back together, they found 3 extra fingers, an extra ear, and an extra tongue. Asami goes to Aoyama's house during his search. Once there, she finds a photo of his dead wife. Enraged, she slips a sedative in his drink and hides. Aoyama comes home, has a drink, and faints. The movie cuts to a sequence about Asami's past and present. In one scene, the contents of the sack are revealed to be a man missing both feet, his tongue, 1 ear, and 3 fingers on one hand. He crawls out of the sack and begs for food. Asami vomits into a dog dish and places it on the floor for the man. The man sticks his face in the bowl of vomit and hungrily consumes it. A while later, Asami returns to the drugged and paralyzed Aoyama. As she walks into the room, the audience sees the twisted body of Aoyama's pet dog. She proceeds to inject Aoyama with an agent that paralyzes his body but keeps his nerves alert. She then tortures him with needles in his abdomen and under his eyes. As she is torturing him, she tells him he is just like everyone else and not being able to love only her. She talks about how he has many whom he loves in his life, mainly his son. She says that she has only him and that this is not acceptable because then he will never be completely hers. Her torture of him, she explains, is to teach him the meaning of needing someone. She tells him that words cause lies, pain can be trusted. She then cuts off his left foot with a wire saw. While Asami begins to cut off his other foot, she is surprised by Aoyama's son returning home. She hides and prepares to attack him. He discovers his father on the floor, turns, and is surprised by Asami. Suddenly, Aoyama has a dream that he is waking up and that the past events have been a dream to just after he and Asami had made love for the first time. She says that she accepts his marriage proposal, despite him never actually proposing, and says that she is the heroine of his life. He awakes from his dream to see his son swing around and Asami failed to disable him. Shigehiko runs up a flight of stairs to escape her and she follows him. He kicks her down the stairs, breaking her neck. Aoyama tells his son to call the police. As Aoyama lies in agony on the floor, he continues to stare at the dying figure of Asami on the floor. Her neck is broken in a way that she is facing him. She mutters things that she had told him earlier about waiting for his call and being excited to see him again. He is overcome with sadness as he remembers his answer to her in his dream sequence about her abuse that it's hard to forget about, but someday you'll feel that life is wonderful.
あなたはもう動けない。体は死ぬけど、神経だけは起こしておいてあげます。そうすると皮膚が敏感になって痛みや苦しみがきちんと味わえるの。
All right, everybody. We are here with Joseph Cantu. He is my co-host. How are you doing tonight, Joseph?
Doing great. How's everybody else doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I don't know about anybody else who's listening to this right now, but we just heard a clip from the movie Audition, and we also just did a synopsis. Joseph, you watched this movie for the first time like a couple of nights ago. What are your overall thoughts about the movie?
It starts with the letter K.
K, huh?
for crazy. It was wild. It's a psycho woman. You don't want to sleep with your eyes closed.
Oh, hell no. Not at all.
It's a one in a lifetime kind of girl.
Yeah. I mean, I've owned this movie for quite a few years now. I bought it maybe, I want to say 2003-ish, because this came out in 1999.
It's way back in the day.
Yeah, it had been out for a while, and when I first saw it, I mean, yeah, the first half is very unassuming. I mean, it's more like just a straight up romance. I mean, like not even a romantic comedy, just a straight up romantic drama, But then, when she leaves the seaside resort, I mean, it becomes something completely different. It just goes off the rails.
Oh, it's out there.
Yeah,
That's something I haven't seen before.
Yeah. I mean, the director, he's Takashi Miike. He's a really, really prolific director. I mean, he has literally done hundreds and hundreds of movies. Like maybe not hundreds and hundreds, but he's got a filmography that, I mean, he started back in like the late 80s, early 90s. Like he did he mostly did Yakuza films, but then he kind of branched out into other genres like horror, action. He's done children's movies. I mean, he's done period pieces. He's done samurai movies.
Oh, yeah. And you definitely have a variety of movies. But this one is one to remember, and yeah, it will stick in your mind. But I would definitely like to check out any other ones he does have.
Oh, I definitely have quite a few in my collection. I'm a huge Takashi Miike fan. I mean, this is like I said before. I mean, this isn't the first film of his that I've seen. That would be Ichi the Killer, which I remember we watched that back when you were living at your mom's.
That's
and
our first introduction.
Yeah, I mean, that was also really, really crazy and gory and just a really fun movie, though.
It's right around our ballpark.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, but he's also done like comedies. Like I have a movie called Osaka Tough Guys, and that's more like a Yakuza comedy. Like he did a movie called The Bird People of China, which is this more like really kind of contemplative philosophical movie. It's not really like horror or anything. It's more of a straight drama.
Yeah.
And he even did a movie called Happiness of the Katakuris, which was this weird mashup of different genres like zombie movies, musicals, just all kinds of weirdness.
I'm in a different world on that level, but it is intriguing and interesting to watch new views, and it's amazing, like the creativity and what they put into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially in this movie, I mean, with the last 30 minutes, I mean, like, whenever it switches between the different restaurants, like there's 3 different restaurants that you see in here. Like the first one that they go on their first date. I mean, that's kind of just more of a straight, kind of, I wouldn't say a bistro, but more like just a fine dining restaurant. And then they go to that little bar, basically, like they're drinking beer and everything. Like it's something closer to that. And then the third restaurant, which is actually a little more significant, it's very elegant, but also very dark and very foreboding.
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell something's about to go down.
Yeah, and anytime that Asami and Aoyama, the 2 characters, are in that restaurant, that's when some really significant moments happen that influences things down the line. And even it calls back later on, which kind of shows Aoyama's psyche at the moment. It shows him kind of
foreseeing what's about to happen.
Not so much foreseeing, but kind of coping and contemplating his new relationship with this woman that he kind of manipulated into dating.
Well, she was the wrong one, because he sure did pay for it.
Oh, he paid for it, like, dearly.
Those were new techniques I've never seen. Not even in an old Vietnam War movie.
Fucking Deer Hunter or something like that. Or a fucking Platoon.
To be paralyzed and to feel the pain and not be able to move. That I could imagine that's pretty bad.
キリキリキリキリキリ。痛い？言葉なんか嘘だけど、痛みだけは信じれるもの。ね？痛いとよくわかるでしょ？自分がどんな形をしてるかってことが。キリキリキリキリ。お腹ではここが一番いいの。ほら、ここもここもね。キリキリキリキリキリ。
Oh man, I mean that would be absolutely frightening. What's interesting about that torture scene are the implements that she uses to torture him. I mean, first he uses a needle, a syringe to dull his nerves. Not so much dull his nerves, but dull his muscles to where he can't move. And she uses acupuncture needles. That's what those were. That was needles that are normally used kind of for healing and whatnot, but she was using it to torture him, while he was completely paralyzed and while he couldn't do anything about it. And
oh no.
And then finally she uses the piano wire, which is very, in its own way, also very elegant. It's very thin.
Well, at least he died in class.
Well, I mean, I don't remember him dying, but he was.
No, he was like a little stubby, like the dude off. What was that one movie?
What movie is it?
Mighty Pythons.
Oh, yeah.
Has all his limbs chopped off.
Yeah, that's Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which we will be featuring a few episodes from now.
I'd love to watch that one again.
Oh yeah, we will.
I'll bring my coconuts.
But yeah, I mean, in this film, yeah, the last torture scene, I mean, it just really, it's all very feminine, it's almost girlish in a way.
She was mad. She was mad about life.
Yeah, but in a way, she was kind of taking glee from what she was doing.
It's girl power back in the day.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's very much the same today as well. Yeah, I mean, and there are a lot of people that kind of see her as a bit of a kind of a feminist icon, because of what she did to Aoyama. She kind of took matters into her own hands and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Our hero.
Our hero, our heroine.
Our heroine hero.
This movie was part of a greater explosion of Japanese cinema that came out roughly around the mid to late 90s.
Was that before the puppet shows?
After
like the hand socks? You know what I mean? I don't know. That was too soon, right?
I don't know. It sounds like Syphil and Ollie to me. That's a whole nother issue. But yeah, I mean, there were several directors that were making really interesting movies. Like, there was a movie called Battle Royale that came out, which...
I had one of those last weekend.
Yeah, but not like this. This had an entire...
They had swords, because I forgot mine. Hey, this is serious stuff. You gotta keep your composure.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You can't giggle that hard on the mic.
Well, I just did, and I'm totally keeping it in, because, God damn it, this is fun. This is fucking fun.
This is a good life. You know what? Wait till the check comes in.
Yeah.
Never really gonna be giggling. I'll giggle with you.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Battle Royale was a pretty gory, violent movie that wasn't even available here in the States for a little while because it involved some child violence. Well, children, I mean, they were teenagers.
As long as they say nobody gets hurt, it's okay, right?
Well, lots of people get hurt in that movie, needless to say.
Feelings don't matter, though.
Oh, well.
Oh, that was just a joke.
Yeah, okay, it was a joke. Calm down, everybody. It was a joke.
Box of tissue.
Also, you had movies like Tokyo Gore Police, which was just ridiculously...
That just sounds awesome. Is there a giant monster in it?
Oh, there's giant. Yeah, there's lots of really gross body horror and mutations in that, and gore, and it's just a really, really fun movie. Also, I mean, in the same vein was Machine Girl.
Oh, that sounds intriguing.
Yeah, that had more of like a Japanese schoolgirl. She gets her arm amputated, and then she gets a machine gun attached to it.
What I need.
Yeah. Yeah, and
our machine gun.
And also, there's a director named Sion Sono. He has made quite a few different interesting films of his own right, like Strange Circus. He's made Cold Fish, and he made a movie called Suicide Club. Like the first 10 minutes of that movie.
I think I could see a movie called Suicide Club.
The first 10 minutes of that movie, it has a bunch of Japanese schoolgirls line up at a subway station at the rails, hold hands, chant some type of happy cheer, and then jump in front of a train. It's just like dozens of Japanese schoolgirls just
kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah, very much, and it's just blood everywhere. Yeah, but I mean, there was also other great movies that came out around that time. You know, like even before then, I mean, something that I kind of feel it's not necessarily Japanese, but it kind of predated it, and it kind of was the progenitor for that all was
19th century.
No, it was a movie called Ricky-O, the story of Ricky. Like it's this martial arts movie that takes place in a prison, and it's really, really action-packed.
That can't end up any good.
Oh, it's very graphic. Like it's a very graphic movie. I believe it's streaming on Shudder right now. But
we might have to check that out, and we eventually, hopefully, we'll get a live podcast going to where we can guide you through the internet world to the actual cinema and see what we're talking about.
Well, we will be doing film commentaries that we will have.
But that's until they're ready.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we will have film commentaries on Patreon, preferably video, and that will be available soon. But yeah, I mean, Japanese extreme horror cinema, I mean, it's very, very interesting and multifaceted, and Takashi Miike is very much the king of that style.
Traditional.
Yeah, very traditional. And of course, you know, we'd be remiss to not mention stuff like The Grudge and, you know, The Ring, or Ringu and Ju-on, as they were called. Like, I mean, those types of Japanese horror movies, they kind of invaded the American mainstream for a little while. You know, we were seeing remakes of them over and over.
It's a different type of mentality, but
yeah,
they die with dignity.
Well, I mean, you see a lot of the stuff that was in those Japanese ghost story type movies that are now in stuff like, you know, Paranormal Activity.
It's pretty amazing on how futuristic those cartoons are.
Well, they weren't really cartoons, like they were live action movies, but some of their horror cartoons are also very interesting there, like Parasite and Tokyo Ghoul and Ninja Scroll, and yeah, I mean, but that's a whole nother conversation right there.
自分がどんな人間かがわかるのも苦しいことや辛いことだけなの。うんと辛い目にあった時だけ自分の心の形がわかるのよ。青山さんの息子さん、重彦って言うんでしょ？息子さんがひどい目に遭わされたら青山さんにもよくわかるかも。
やめろ。重彦は。
Yeah, I mean, but this movie Audition had a lot of interesting things to say about dating and romance in the modern era.
Keep it real or you're going to get chopped up.
Yeah. Like, what did you think the movie had to say about that, Joseph? What's your take on that?
You know, he obviously didn't want what he had and made a different choice, and it was the wrong one because he was with a crazy one.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, she knows how to use her tools.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, she took care of him, and pretty psychotic. It's pretty out there. You know, that's pretty good torture and something different. You know, you don't usually see every day in a movie.
Oh yeah, certainly not. I mean, you have movies like Fatal Attraction that kind of goes down that same route.
Got those manipulative.
Oh yeah, very manipulative, very much so. But I mean, on the same level, I mean, Aoyama was manipulative as well. I mean,
he just got caught, and she was smarter and faster.
Exactly. I mean, he what he did was admittedly pretty skeevy. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, just
I actually didn't count on her being that bold and doing what she did, because that takes a lot of guts to inject somebody and actually follow through on a full murder. Like, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, there has been some women that have done some pretty crazy stuff like that. Like, for instance...
You're not talking about the astronaut that rode across country.
No, I'm actually not going to talk about that. Yeah, good little callback to the Big Sick, by the way.
That was a good counter.
That was. It's a actual... something that actually happened in Japan, like, back in, I think it was like the 1800s, maybe a little later than that. I'm not sure.
So is that a normal thing they do?
No, well, check it out. It was this lady. She was a prostitute and geisha. Oh wow, we just had a goddamn movie clip play. Oh well, we're just gonna go ahead and talk over it. Whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. It sounds kind of cool.
Let's see. Where was I going with that?
You're thinking too hard. I hear you.
I guess I was thinking a little too hard, folks. I completely lost my train of thought. But yeah, this movie, it really says a lot about women's role in Japan at the time. You know, I mean, and right now, you know, Japan is a very conservative, very traditional society, and women are kind of seen as... They're very much seen as the subservient class in Japan. And I'm sorry, I'm still listening to the movie clip.
The dog is drinking so loudly.
The dog is drinking very loudly. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is a dog here.
And his name is D.O.G.
D.O.G. Yes, that's right, D.O.G.
He drinks out of the toilet. He likes to make a mess.
But okay, I think I remember what I was talking about. I was talking about Sade Aba. She was a prostitute and geisha. She fell in love with this merchant named Kenichi, and they went off to this hideaway in Japan to pretty much have this entire week of just sex, like nothing but sex. And eventually
you
they
definitely can never forget a name like that.
No, but eventually she strangled him to death. And she...
that sounded like a freaking prank.
Yeah, during sex, and she cut his penis off. She put his penis...
That's worse than a praying mantis because they only eat your head.
Well, figuratively speaking, they just ate your head.
Not both of them.
Yeah. But, I mean, she wrapped it up in a traditional Japanese gift wrap, and she was...
and ate it? That's just weird.
No. She was walking around the streets of Tokyo with this dude's penis in this wrap and just in this dream state.
That's just wrong.
Yeah. And, I mean, this movie kind of evokes that, folk.
But it's like a true story.
It's a true story, but it's also... Sade Aba kind of became a little bit of a folk hero in Japan as well. Because of it.
It's like, support that.
Yeah.
That's the guy who got his stuff cut off.
Yep. Mr. Aoyama himself.
That's what he probably sounded like.
Yeah, he definitely sounded like that. I won't lie.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but what was interesting about that final torture scene was just how matter-of-fact she was about everything, you know? Like, she was just
matter of fact.
Yeah, she was just very straightforward with him. She was just like, "Oh, this is why I'm doing this. Is because you said you would love
done this, and you did it.
Yeah,
and now you're gonna pay for it." And that's a true story, and I feel for her. And I just didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it was.
But it's a cool movie, though.
It was definitely difficult to see coming, but I mean, and that's why that last 15 minutes.
Why did I like to watch it? That's a weird thing.
mean, kind of probably out of a prurient interest, I'd imagine. I mean, but yeah, I mean, the last 30 minutes compared to the first half of the movie, I mean, like I said, it's very much structured like a traditional family drama.
I enjoyed it, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, on its own right, I mean, if you took away the psychological elements of the film, I mean, that story would stand on its own right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but ultimately it had to go where it had to go, you know, just to really kind of show how Aoyama was coping with his manipulation of Asami.
Yeah, he definitely couldn't overpower her on that one.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. But, I mean, my overall theory of that is that most of that torture scene doesn't really happen. That's really what I think. Like, you remember when I referenced that the restaurant with the red walls and everything?
So you kind of think it was a dream, kind of?
Not so much a dream. It was Aoyama's inner psyche kind of coping with his guilt tripping
through the different options or visions of what she could have done.
Basically, just kind of processing the situation he was in, and then finally, like, the final 15 minutes, the torture scene is pretty much just him just seriously guilt tripping and just beating himself up over it. And that's through the manifestation of Asami torturing him and just telling him, this is why I'm doing this to you. You know? It's like, it's because you're a piece of shit.
So what do you think that he actually, because I don't quite remember the ending. I just remember that he was on his face with all 4 limbs missing and little daggers in his eyes.
It wasn't all 4 limbs. It was just one limb, and she started cutting into 1 foot. But
oh, that was it. That was the ankle that came off.
But he was looking at her. She had just broken her neck, and she started muttering.
Oh, that's right, talking.
She started talking She started mentioning some of the things she had said to him on one of her dates, and that date, you know, he told her that, you know what, I would want you to know that life can be wonderful again. You know, and that's really what that was. It was finally him kind of coming to terms.
I think they believed that they both found themselves content with being
something like that. Something like that.
Happy.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, it was not so much happiness, just kind of coming to terms with what he had done and maybe accepting that there might or might not be a future with this woman.
Oh,
you know?
Definitely not.
Yeah, definitely not.
I mean, she did cut him up in pieces.
Well, that's if you accept that as being real.
But yeah, it could have just been a figment of somebody's imagination.
Of Aoyama's psyche, I would say.
Mm-hmm. She saw a different past.
Yeah, definitely. But also, her past definitely comes into play in this movie as well. You know, I mean, the whole thing with her uncle, who was also her ballet teacher, I mean, that in its own right, I mean, that dude was a bastard. And it's understandable that... I
vaguely remember anything about that, but...
Well, you remember he had the hot wooden rods that were all burning, and he like tortured her with them.
That's definitely a sick son of a bitch.
Very sick son of a bitch, but I mean, it's kind of understandable why she would have some type of negative view of men. But you also
have to put yourself in their time era, because back in that time frame, if you actually think about it, their discipline was a lot stricter than the hand slaps that we have nowadays. I think more now, parents get more disciplined than the children.
Well, that's a whole nother issue altogether. I mean, this dude, he was her uncle, and he was totally taking advantage of her. Oh, yeah,
and that's just pedophile.
Yeah. I mean, it's strongly implied that he was definitely molesting her as well as torturing her.
And that's horrible, because, you know, that scarred her for life, and it could have made her a psycho, crazy woman, and she got set off.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. You know, because otherwise she seems like a very innocent and pure and demure woman.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a crazy one for you. And it wasn't her fault that somebody did that.
No, it wasn't. Absolutely not. I mean, in the end, she is the victim there. You know, I mean, she's a woman that will stand up for her own self. I can tell you that much. Yeah. I mean, in a way, I mean, you can kind of argue that she has a little bit of a little bit in common with the character that was in the movie I Spit on Your Grave. Like except she went through something a lot more traumatic. But I mean, it's very much still taking kind of taking revenge on the men that hurt them. You know.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a very good incentive.
I mean, not to compare the two situations. It's just more comparing the.
I thought it was a pretty complete movie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, comparing the drive that both of those characters had. But yeah, it was a superlative film. It really is. I mean,
start to finish, it kept you interested, and it was a good ending.
Yeah, but also this is a movie that is typically seen as one of the most disturbing films of all time. Did you?
I actually was able to eat something while I watched it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I might have spilled something because I took my eye off the TV. If that makes sense, but I thought it was pretty good.
Oh yeah, it definitely was.
I didn't see anything worse than what I've seen before.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it feels like a pretty standard horror film. You know, I mean, I have movies in my collection that are a lot rougher than this. I have stuff like The Girl Next Door,
and it
Jack
looked more
Ketchum.
Natural too, like the way the ankle came off. It was pretty clean, and it was not digital, fake, and it was.
Oh, it was excellent practical effects.
It was really good
cinematography. You mean?
Yeah, it could be that.
Yeah, the cinematography in this movie was also very
well put together.
It was very well done for its time. You know, I mean, we're only talking.
What did it come out? 99, you said?
99. It's not even 20 years.
I know. It's still quite. It's almost 2 centuries.
2 decades.
Yeah. Well, that's my Mexican math because I got rocks that fade away when it rains. So, that's what I'm dealing with.
Goddamn, Joseph.
I don't have a chalkboard. I have a street and a curb to write this X plus 2 times 3 is hello.
Yeah. But
Mexican Taco Day.
But yeah, I mean, this is a movie that ends up on a lot of most disturbing movie lists on YouTube.
Does it now?
Yeah, it really does. Like it
over Jason and Eddie Freddy.
No, over movies even worse than that, like Martyrs and like Funny Games, or We Need to Talk About Kevin. These are all movies that I have, and we will
all new to me.
We will talk about those movies at some point during this podcast.
Before I can talk about it, I gotta see it.
Of course.
And maybe.
But this movie never really disturbed me that much.
No, I was able to eat a bowl of cereal and watch it, and none of it came out my nose or anything. I was all right. I chewed it all well.
Well, I think that what makes it not disturbing is because of that first half of the movie.
The true love.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, the whole setup of the romantic element and the relationship.
Me in my zone.
Yeah.
You know, those Captain Crunch were excellent with that love.
Now, I'm not saying that the first half works against the movie or anything like that. It just helps you kind of ease into the more disturbing elements of the movie.
It's a slow rolling roller coaster.
Yeah, it's a slow burn, definitely. I mean,
which you want because we are 420 friendly.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So you're more than welcome to ride the magical train.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, smoke them up if you have it. Like, definitely. And especially during a film like this. Like, you're definitely going to want to maybe burn a few, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like Grandma always said, nice cup of twisted tea and a warm bath. Or relax you.
Yeah, but this is a movie that was supposedly so disturbing that when it came out at the Cannes Movie Festival, it, like, luminaries like Rob Zombie walked out on it.
And is he a tough guy?
What's that?
He's directed stuff that's pretty gory, didn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's directed.
Why would he walk out on that? Because I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, fear is subjective, man. Like, horror is subjective.
To make a stand. He had a point to make.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
He wanted to prove something. You know what? He proved he can walk out from somewhere pretty fast.
I don't think that might be the case. I think that he was just really disturbed
Maybe he had to
by
go to
it.
the bathroom. Maybe he had to go somewhere real fast.
But I mean, it's kind of surprising because he's not a casual horror fan. You know, he has
might need to do conditioner. Now, who knows? He has a lot of hair. He might have needed a perm conditioner.
Oh my Lord, Rob Zombie, we love you, man. I mean, we're not bragging on you or
We're not
anything.
degrading, but I know I get hot with a little beard. I don't even have a beard, and I gotta shave it. So you gotta do something if you're moving that quick.
Yeah, I don't like to have my beard particularly thick either. It gets very distracting. You know?
I mean, we're manly enough, but when we have a beard, it's even manlier, and we get all crazy.
Yeah.
We get crazy when we get beards. Look at my buddy Bo.
Yeah. So what would you say would be the gore factor of this movie?
The gore factor.
Like, how gory do you think it is on a scale of 1 to 10?
Real life true story? I say this is about a good 7.
7? I would say so, yeah. I mean, the torture scene can be very distressing, but it's one of those things where it's not so much what's shown, but what is not shown.
And the thing is, like, it didn't quite make me, like, want to vomit, but it had a good potential, and it's something worth watching, and I did enjoy. But if you want to talk about gory, we can find some other things.
Oh, definitely.
And that's what we will do.
Yeah, other things in my collection. Yeah, we're definitely
going to be talking about some better movies.
Well, a few episodes from now, we're also going to be talking about the movie Martyrs. That's actually very well known for being pretty intense. But also, that's another movie that I didn't find that disturbing. I mean, I'm not trying to...
the title. It sounds interesting.
It's very interesting. It's a French film. And
oh, no parlez-vous. Excuse me. I didn't mean to slur my tongue.
Some of the best horror has come from places like France.
I know a little French, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of the best. The only thing I know is French kissing. That's it. Sorry about that. I don't eat cheese, but it's okay. We can eat some garlic bread. Or is that Italian? I don't know.
That's Italian. You're talking French bread.
I'm Mexican, so I'll eat both. Put some fideo. Fuck it. Put some noodles in it.
Put some noodles in it, y'all. Y'all heard this first. Put some noodles in it.
You heard it live. It's true. We eat noodles. Fideo.
But Takashi Miike can really bring out the more psychological elements of the stories that he directs. Like, what did you think about the psychological part of the film?
That's a little mind-boggling right there. Is because he's like a little kid in a candy store with like both hands in a cookie jar and pulling out different color M&Ms. It could be anything at any time.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's definitely how that.
It's pretty out there. It's pretty. His mind is pretty.
Yeah.
Grown. It's out there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Miike really delved into Aoyama's psyche. I mean, basically how he was processing everything, but he also kind of shone light into Asami's world a little bit, which is very lonely. You know,
different people's perspectives from one person.
Yeah, but most people don't have a guy with a bunch of limbs missing in their fucking a bag in their apartment.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to say anything when you have your limbs getting chopped and poked out and your eyeballs closed.
Yeah, your tongue cut out.
And yeah, so you're gonna have to see whatever happens.
Yeah. What did you think about that vomit scene where the dude from the bag
I thought that was a dream because I blacked out at that time. And I thought it was me, but thank God I didn't wake up with anything on me.
Yeah, right?
I was like, it was a movie. Takashi, somebody, what? I'll talk you later.
But fun fact about that scene, the girl who played Asami, she actually vomited into that.
And that was my last nickname, Asami.
Asami, huh?
Yeah, I used to be called Awesome Me, but
Awesome
I outgrew that one.
Awesome Me, you mean?
Yeah, Awesome Me.
Oh, wow.
But then I grew up into a superstar, so now I got a different nickname. Rocket. I don't stop it. What?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's cool because we're going to keep on continuing to talk about these awesome movies.
Yeah.
And report any new probing going on in America. Donald Trump's got his thumb on it.
Oh, Lord, no.
You're the next green.
Oh, Lord, no. Oh, we're not going to go there.
We're just telling jokes, but we're actually talking about movies.
Yeah, especially movies as awesome as Takashi Miike's Audition.
Miike.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I kind of thought that, psychologically speaking, this movie really just kind of pierces you a little bit,
It sure does.
It pierces you just like the acupuncture needles that Asami uses on Aoyama.
It teaches you life without knowing. Kind of like learning the facts of life without watching the facts of life.
Well, it's like I said in the intro. When I first watched this movie, and I've watched it over and over and over again since then, but especially then, it really kind of made me question, like, what are some of the areas in my dating life where I may have been manipulative like that?
Oh, I guarantee you it's every time. Because you know what? People play people, and people try to do things to impress other people, and it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
And you know what? The real stuff comes out after a few months.
Yeah.
Because you can't fake it for that long. It's an easy thing to do, but you know what? People are crazy. And people go out of their way to make themselves look different. So, yeah, you probably were played more than you think.
Oh, precisely.
Women are especially crazy. I know men can be all testosterone out and do everything, but you know, women, y'all better watch out for yourselves.
To all our female listeners, we love you. We totally love you.
I'm not saying y'all ain't good, but I'm saying y'all ain't bad either. That was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Oh, very weird, Joseph. Almost like Takashi and Miike weird.
You can just call me JC. My friends call me JC now. Those are my new friends. You know, I'm going to introduce y'all to me. Is Crazy J. I'm going to go ahead and leave that one out of this one. We're going to call me JC.
JC. Y'all heard,
Jesus Christ.
Y'all heard it here, folks.
JC.
Yeah, he is JC. I mean, he just did an old dirty bastard. May as well call himself Big Baby Jesus.
We'll keep it easy. We'll keep it JC.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
And put your hands together and kneel down, pray before the Lord.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ loves you. What?
This movie is something that I do really hold near and dear to my heart. I mean, it was when I was really getting into Japanese horror.
Well, I definitely will not scratch this DVD on purpose this time for you.
I appreciate that, Joseph.
And I know you appreciate your collection, which is a vast collection. I won't do you dirty on this one. It is one to keep, so I put it back in the case very cleanly. With baby tissues and everything,
I appreciate that,
I put
Joseph.
airbags on it, so next time you pull it out.
I definitely appreciate that, but yeah, I mean, this movie will definitely teach you a lot of lessons about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness.
I know, it's so weird.
Yeah.
To see somebody's ankle fall off, like, it teaches me a lot. Like, I'm going to wear high socks. For real.
High socks. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be high socks with the stripes on top.
Good.
It makes me, like, if I can pick up my knees real high when I run, I think I'll get away.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that would help if you drank liquor.
Or just don't have a Chinese girlfriend.
Japanese.
Oh, that's what I meant to say.
Come on, man. Keep up.
I know. It's scary, though.
Keep up here. They don't all look the same, man.
I know. I just scared because when the ankle came off, I was like, I don't know if she's Chinese or Japanese now because I probably was hyperventilating at that time.
Wow.
But yeah, true love hurts.
True love hurts.
That's the truth. From JC.
次は右足ね。
ただいま。親父まだ起きてるの？友達がさ、突然病気になっちゃってさ、救急車呼んだりして大変だったんだよ。
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. This was a lot of fun, Joseph. What do you think?
It was very awesome, and the little cute phrase of the night is, believe in love. Forget the pain, believe in love.
Believe in love, everybody. You heard it here. And yeah, that will do it for Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters. You can find us on Twitter at CCinema Podcast. You can find us on SoundCloud. Just look up Collateral Cinema Movie Podcast. We are on Patreon. You can check us out there. Our intro beat is by Dark Sun. You can find him on Twitter. We will have a new outro song, hopefully pretty soon, by Another Restless Thought. Hopefully that'll be playing over this outro right now. And thank you everybody for listening, and just
And
check
thank
us out.
you.
We do have a Facebook page now. Also look up, it's at Collateral Cinema on Facebook. So check us out. We appreciate you listening, and y'all have a great evening, morning, day, or whatever. And remember, we are 420 friendly. Smoke them if you got them. Smoke them if you got them.
Get 'em.
Collateral Cinema is an L Company production.